If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're still fighting for a fantasy championship in week 16. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal now. Keep working that waiver wire. There are still plenty of wide receivers that can help you. I'm here to give you my top 5 waiver wire pickups for week 16. Start with number 5. You know what? Let's just make this a combo here. A pair of Texans receivers. Been talking about Keke Coutee for weeks now. Hopefully he's been picked up in your league. If not, he still seems to be available in a lot of places. So go ahead and add him. 5 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Again, he's been productive. He's going to continue to be productive as long as Will Fuller is suspended, which he is for the rest of the season. And you know what? Let's throw in Chad Hansen in there. We've got a lot of questions about him this week. He's still being productive as well. In fact, he's outproduced Coutee the last 2 weeks with 111 receiving yards, and he scored in week 15. Hansen and Coutee both are viable streamers still going against Cincinnati, which isn't quite the smash spot for receivers that you think it is. They're kind of just a medium, middle of the pack pass defense, according to wide receiver fantasy points per game allowed, but it's still a good matchup in general. And these guys have been productive no matter what. All right, for number 4, let's go back to Darnell Mooney. He's been a viable streamer here and there. And now that the Bears seem to be kind of rolling again, at least offensively they are, this is a good spot for him. He's scored in back-to-back games. Mitch Trubisky looking pretty good, I must say. And you know what? They get the Jaguars next week. The Jaguars still fighting for that number 1 seed. You know, the Jets are giving them a run for their money now. But I guess Jacksonville now seems to want to lose more. So their defense is giving absolutely no resistance. And you know what? It's a good spot for the Bears. It's a good spot for Mooney. He's a better pick in standard than PPR leagues just because he's not really getting the target volume. And David Montgomery's just been so effective this passing game. Hasn't really needed to throw a whole lot. But against Jacksonville, the matchup is just too good. You've got to like his upside. But number 3, I actually like Rashard Higgins a little bit better. The matchup also begs you to stream him because it's the Jets. Now, I know the Jets just looked somehow good and beat the Rams. I think that's more a case of the Rams just being the Rams and letting down and losing when they should have won. But give the Jets a little bit of credit. Still, this is a bottom 10 pass defense. And Rashard Higgins has been surprisingly consistent, 65 yards receiving in 4 of the last 5 games, a couple of touchdowns here and there too. Baker Mayfield has been on a roll. You've got to figure that the Jets aren't going to pull another upset next week. The Browns are looking really good. I like Higgins' chances. He is a strong wide receiver 3 candidate in week 16. Number 2, though, is Russell Gage. Another guy was mentioned last week. Since Julio Jones has been out, he had 5 catches for 82 yards in week 14, 5 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown this past week against Tampa. And it's not just because Julio's out, because actually Julio Jones makes this whole offense better. In fact, Gage's numbers had been better with Julio on the field as opposed to without. But now it just doesn't seem to matter. Matt Ryan is playing much better. The Falcons as a whole are better. Since the bye week, Gage has been involved regardless of whether Julio is on the field or not. He's averaging 8 targets per game since then, the last several weeks. So he's been involved. He is going to be a high floor guy in PPR leagues. And so you really don't have to base this pickup on whether Julio is healthy or not. Gage is going to be productive either way. And going against Kansas City this coming week, you know they're going to have to put some points on the board and throw the ball. But the number 1 wide receiver who I recommend for waiver on week 15 going into week 16 is Emmanuel Sanders. And this is somebody who just basically caught some steam in the very end of last week because, surprise, Michael Thomas is on IR. So with Thomas out, Sanders now becomes the de facto wide receiver 1 in New Orleans. Now, Drew Brees just did not look like himself in week 15. Terrible performance, 15 out of 34, very un-Brees-like. But Sanders was still effective. He led the team with 76 receiving yards, and he gets an even better matchup here going into week 16 with Minnesota. Minnesota's been playing better, but that secondary is still very young and inexperienced, and they're giving up plenty of yardage to wide receivers. So Sanders is in a good spot. You figure Brees has got to be better. Sanders is somebody you should definitely consider adding. Probably forgotten about, maybe discarded over the course of the last few weeks because they really hadn't done much with Taysom Hill at quarterback. With Brees playing, assuming he's going to play like Drew Brees of old next week, he's in actually a really good spot. So you can definitely consider adding and streaming Emmanuel Sanders in all formats. All right, well, that does it for wide receivers. Hopefully this helped you guys. As I already said, hit that subscribe button. Our end game is to help you. If you have any more questions about wide receivers you want to pick up, hit us up with a comment and catch us on Endgame Live Sunday morning, 2 hours before kickoff. All right, thanks for watching and good luck.